Clean up in aisle 5. You're gonna need tear gas, pepper spray, and assault gear just to listen to this show.
Sasquatch, the moon landing, UFOs, 9/11, flat earth, JFK. All of these things have one thing in common: unanswered questions. So let's get to the bottom of that.
Now here's something completely random.
Animals in action, animals in action.
Random.
We using that in the intro?
Thank you and good night!
Dice Man Enterprises exclusively presents a talk show that will get to the bottom of things once and for all. And now here's your host for Let's Get to the Bottom of That, a bunch of weirdos on a mic.
It's that time once again. Get funny, Jason. 1, 2, 3, go. Getting funny here. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Get to the Bottom of That. I am your host, Byron Dice. I'm joined in studio with a bunch of weirdos on a mic. We've got Jason.
Hello.
We got Curtis.
Still Jason.
There we go. Yeah, that's Curtis. We're missing Joey today. Joey decided to step out and do some investigative work in Ireland. Because Curtis was just there.
Good save.
And Curtis mentioned something about an underground cave, and Joey wanted to check it out and get us some actual stuff on the ground.
Cave of Wonders. No, that's in Arabia. Never mind.
Well, welcome back. Curtis, you got a hat for us today? Wait, is that a hat or a beanie? Or is there a difference?
It's a beanie.
Okay,
but it
beanie.
covers
Is that
the
a
head,
hat?
So I consider it a hat.
So what's the controversy there?
There's no controversy. You're just making one up.
Wait, what about a toupee or a comb-over?
Oh, well.
What's...
I haven't thought that far.
Which one should we go there?
Did you cut your hair, Byron?
No.
It looks shorter.
Probably is. I don't know.
No, my head is from O'Donoghue's.
O'Donoghue's.
Which, if you guys have ever heard of the band The Dubliners.
Oh, I do.
Okay, they got their start at O'Donoghue's. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went to O'Donoghue's the last night in Dublin, and they were doing what they call a session, where it's just a bunch of musicians getting together. They call out a song, and they all play it. And I kind of tapped the guy with the guitar, and I was like, hey, what does it take to get in here and sing something? He's like, what do you want to sing? I was like, Ramblin' Rover by Silly Wizard. And he's like, haven't heard of that one. I was like, he goes, get up there. I was like, okay. So I got to sing one of my favorite.
Silly Wizard?
Yeah.
That's
favorite
cool,
songs.
bro. That's a good story.
Yeah. It was epic. And I'm sitting here. They have these portraits of all of the members of the Dubliners, like Ronnie Drew and, you know.
Or you were just geeking out.
I totally
Fanboy.
was geeking out. Yeah.
I got you,
It was
man.
awesome.
Oh, wow.
So O'Donoghue's.
We'll probably get some more. I want to get some more probably interview on of that trip later.
Okay.
If people don't know, Curtis just got back from a Ireland trip.
Ireland.
Yeah, Rhode Island.
Ireland?
Hi.
The Scottish Wales, anyway. Today we're talking. Well, you know what? I just got a text.
From who?
From Maryl Wilson. This is interesting. We're going to do Oklahoma City bombing today. That's what my plan was. But I just got a text from Maryl Wilson from the Bold Women podcast. She's branching off and doing a true crime podcast. She's going solo.
Really?
Yeah. And for her pilot show, she's going to do the St. Valentines Massacre, which I didn't know it was called that.
I don't know what
but
that is.
It's basically something to do with Al Capone. And she wanted to come over here, get in studio with us, and kind of pick our brains on this subject and see what we thought about it.
Let's go.
And so I figured, why not just have us do a podcast about Al Capone?
Podcast within a podcast? My God.
I can't do it. So without further ado, let's go to Maryl.
Oh, she's already here.
Yeah, she just came
Here
over.
I am.
She just came over from Maryl Wilson Studios.
How about that?
And welcome to the program, Maryl.
What's going on?
So tell us real quick, so we can just get after this. Everything that you're doing with this new podcast. Tell us what's going on.
Do you want the origin story? How
Yeah,
I came
tell
up
us
with it?
why are we doing a true crime, and then where can people start listening to you, and when can people start listening?
Let's see. June 23rd.
Okay,
This
good,
episode will drop, I believe.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
June
And
23rd.
You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I have a TikTok, Instagram. I'm considering at some point maybe trying out Twitch. I don't know.
Oh, the Twitchers.
Yeah,
Ooh, that'd be a good idea.
I'm twitching now.
Anyway, that's a good idea.
Maybe Twitch while I record. See what
I haven't heard
happens.
of Twitch in a while.
I wonder if there's a difference in Twitch and tweaking.
Yes, there is.
Is it?
It's called methamphetamine.
Because
She's
I
not
saw
wrong.
this guy down. So I had a rough morning this morning, by the way. I almost didn't make the podcast. I went down to set up Susan at the city market, and I forgot the top of the canopy.
Oh, no.
So
The most important part.
right, you get the big thing. You got.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? I mean, if you don't
So
have
I
the
had to
top.
run back home, take it back to her. Well, I saw this guy on the by the interstate when I got off,
Tweaking.
and he was I don't know if he was tweaking, but he was doing his hair. He was just rubbing his hair, and he would not stop. So and in my brain I said, "Is he tweaking?" I didn't know if that was a tweaker or not.
Probably was.
Are bath
Okay.
salts still a thing?
Bath salts?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Well, who knows?
Well, I mean, they take bath salts.
I know all the
Smoke
drugs.
'em.
Oh,
Yeah, just ask the great people of Florida about bath salts.
they
Got a
know.
chokehold on them
Anyway,
for a
I didn't
while.
mean to interrupt that. So the name of the podcast is called Midwest Malice.
Yes.
And all of our listeners, please go over to Spotify and follow and click the notification bell so
Yeah.
you'll get notified when she drops a new true crime podcast.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Midwest Malice.
And is it already on Spotify right now? Like the pilot?
No,
No, nothing.
this is the pilot.
We are the pilot.
We are the pilot.
You are the pilot now. Got it.
When this drops, it'll be on Spotify. And
Yeah.
you can find it.
or wherever you listen to your
Yeah.
podcast. So anyway, Midwest Malice.
Yes.
I when you told me about this, I was like, "What's going on?" I thought crime was like Chicago has the highest rates of. I didn't know Kansas was up there.
Dude.
We're gonna get into it. We'll get into it with Chicago, Chicago in particular, obviously because of today's case. But every story that we talk about will come from the Midwest.
Wow.
It will, yeah.
Well,
Basically, the
I didn't
whole
know
the whole point
the
is.
Midwest was that ratchet.
Oh yeah, it's
We go hard here, dude. We go hard.
we've got.
Curtis is like, you
we've
don't know how
got
bad I've
some,
restrained over the years.
Yeah, we've got some serious creepy people
Oh,
in the
wow.
Midwest.
Okay, well, I can't wait to
That's
hear
a
about
good
all
cover
this.
for it. I think that I was trying to. I can start with the origin story. I can tell you why
Okay.
this came about. I actually started this podcast in, I think it was 2017. I released 5 episodes on Podbean.
I love Podbean.
And I was able to do 5, and then some life stuff happened, and I just, took
Yeah.
it, was like, I got to
On
step away
what?
from this.
Podbean?
Yeah, it used to be.
Yeah,
a pod.
it's like
Yes.
like Spotify host your audio. Podbean hosts your
okay.
audio.
Yeah.
They got the free version, which is you're limited to space. Then you can pay monthly subscription.
I'm computer
whatever.
illiterate, so
Yeah.
this is hard
I just
for
lost
me.
half the audience. Anyway,
I wanted to just do a podcast because there's the stereotypes that people in the Midwest are these like wholesome, good timey folk, and I wouldn't disagree with that as a whole. There's a lot of good people in the Midwest, hardworking people, but there's just as much crap going on here as there is everywhere else, and so I just kind of wanted to feature some of that. But after I sort of stepped away from doing that for a while, when I was discussing it with some of my siblings, and my brother was like, "Hey, why don't you bring it back?" And I was like, I don't know if I should. And then it occurred to me after some thinking, like, because I actually wanted to go in another direction, talking about, my faith, but I was just kind of exploring like, okay, what can I do with that hasn't been done, whatever. And then after some just thinking about it, it was like, why not do both? So
Yeah, combine.
yes, so
Which is
Midwest
what we've
Malice. Midwest Malice is the exploration of human brokenness and redemption, and it basically the whole goal is to just highlight our need for Christ in our lives, and hopefully just give people a fresh perspective so that we're not just, I don't know, reveling in people's misery and horrible traumatic things that have happened to them. We'll talk about cases and stuff, but also faith is going to be tied in there, and we'll explore different themes with different cases. So I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think you have a unique podcast combining the two, because I don't know any podcasts that do that. I know a lot of true crime, but I don't know a lot that combine the two.
Yeah.
And I like what you said earlier when you said it was actually in the intro. People be peopling.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's true. And then also it kind of brings you to this human level, and then you kind of like put your faith in it so people can relate. I like that idea. I think it's perfect.
So we'll see how it goes, and I hope you guys like it. So.
Well, today you wanted to bring to us something happened with Al Capone, which I had no idea that this was called the St. Valentines Massacre.
Yeah. So that was a gift from the media. Someone probably didn't get paid enough to come up with that, but yeah.
Okay, so let's break this case down.
Yeah.
And see if Al Capone is in the Midwest.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with some scripture, and then I want to
he's in
jump.
Scripture.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're tying in. We're tying
Al
in.
Capone's right
Yeah,
there.
Join on in, guys. Listen, this is fun. Okay, and then we'll after that we'll talk about some crime statistics that I have for you all.
Great.
So the verse that I'm about to share kind of feels like the opposite of what we're about to discuss here, but Matthew 5:44 says, "But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." So hold on to that thought, because by the end of this episode, we'll come back to the weight of like forgiveness and the radical shift that it demands of us. So Chicago has one of the highest crime rates, as you were mentioning, Byron, in the United States, with 40 crimes per 1,000 residents, meaning the chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime is 1 in 25. So the violent crime rate, including murder, rape, armed robbery, and aggravated assault, is 1 in 167. And Chicago has one of the highest murder rates in the nation.
Wow.
Yeah. Their property crimes, like burglary, larceny, motor vehicle theft, and arson, occur at a rate of 1 in 29. The East crime neighborhood, so like kind of distributing how crime goes in that city. The East neighborhoods see the most crime, with a 1 in 21 chance of being a victim, while the Southwest part of the city is considered safer, with a 1 in 58 chance. And then the projected cost of crime in Chicago for 2025 is $4.4 billion, which averages $456 per resident and $1,217 per household.
I've never heard it put like that.
Yeah.
The cost of crime.
The cost. Yeah, that's where your taxpayer dollars
Pay
go.
up, people.
Hey, crime doesn't pay.
Yeah. Chicago ranks 38th percentile for safety, meaning it's safer than only 38% of U.S. cities, to kind of give you an idea.
Wow.
So.
I don't want to go to Chicago.
Have you been?
You can.
I've been once.
I've been. Although
The family's been talking about taking the train and going there and just, eating some,
Oh, yeah.
deep pan, what's that called? Chicago style pizza,
And then
whatever.
and
Some
just
deep dish.
Take the train back right
Yeah,
when you guys done. Just eat
Some Chicago deep dish.
Eat some za and
Or you can take an even shorter route and take a 45-minute flight.
I think they want to experience the train.
Okay. Well, yeah. Or that.
Yeah.
With
Anyway.
fun people that jump on at times. I was on a train and it stopped like near like a prison.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Some of their stops are very I don't know,
Sketch?
they don't make a lot of sense, but yeah.
Did you end up seeing like spies fighting? through the train? God, I always think that that's going to happen when I'm.
Oh
on a
yeah,
train.
and
No,
somebody's on the top
our-
Yeah,
fighting.
then they finally end up on the top, and then
They're in the
bad guy
baggage.
the
The
bad guy
train,
gets
it
taken off the
actually it
top.
got worse because the train like broke down. They decided they couldn't keep going, and we had to get on freaking charter buses to
What?
make the rest of the trip. Yeah.
That was a train breakdown.
I've seen that in a movie where the
I don't
train
know, but
they're
they were like,
walking
everybody
across
out.
the field.
We've got some buses here, and it was awful.
That's okay. Maybe I'll rethink this train.
Yeah,
thing.
because I was like, I'm not gonna. I was trying to do the whole Amtrak.
Matter of fact, at least from Union Station.
Yeah, I was trying to do that, but yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's what happened.
Anyway,
Yep. Okay, so let's jump into Chicago, 1929.
okay,
Right?
surely where there's no crime in 1929.
1929. Yeah.
Sure.
This is a
wish I had
city
that.
gripped by Prohibition, and it's controlled by the underworld. So this is the era of speakeasies, bootlegging, ruthless crime syndicates. Okay,
Sure.
It's my kind of
laws.
people.
Yeah. Your kind of
I
people.
like that speakeasy.
You had me at Speakeasy.
Laws didn't govern the streets, money and power did. So at the center of it all in Chicago stood Al Capone. He was the undisputed king of organized crime there.
Kingpin.
And his empire spanned, it was gambling, illegal alcohol, and political corruption. So it made him one of the most feared men in the country. But he wasn't the only one that was vying for control, okay?
Okay.
We've got George Bugs Moran. Bugs, I don't know how he got his
Bugs.
nickname.
Hey, Bugs.
I don't know.
Don't forget the cannolis.
Yeah. But he was a man with his own ambitions, and he had some turf that he was unwilling to surrender. Okay.
Okay.
So their rivalry wasn't just business, it was war. A brutal, escalating conflict over territory and dominance, fought with bullets instead of boardroom deals. And in the backdrop, the people of Chicago lived in uneasy acceptance of the violence that shadowed their daily lives. So, by early 1929, tensions between Capone and Moran had reached a breaking point. Several of Moran's men had been targeted in prior shootings, and Moran himself had narrowly escaped an assassination attempt just months before. The constant bloodshed had made one thing clear, that, someone was going to make the next big move.
Oh.
Now we get to February 14th, 1929. It was supposed to be just another day in the illicit liquor trade.
Just
right?
another day.
Just another day doing some scandalous stuff during
Liquor
Prohibition.
trade.
A shipment was expected
Liquor
as
trade.
As one does.
Yeah.
yeah. A shipment was expected at the SMC Cartage Garage. It's a location familiar to Moran's men, but this was not an ordinary delivery. So just after 10:30 a.m., eyewitnesses saw men approach the garage. 2 were dressed in police uniforms and the others in plain clothes. Moran himself had been running late, and by sheer luck, he was never inside. But his goons were. And the supposed officers ordered 7 men inside the garage to line up against the wall as if they were conducting a routine raid.
Oh.
Yeah, no one resisted. They likely had assumed that this was just another shakedown, and then gunfire erupted. The victims were slaughtered in seconds, like some collapsing instantly, and others were hit multiple times before falling. Over 70 bullets riddled the room. And one of the first-hand accounts that came from a neighbor who had heard the gunfire and rushed to the scene, he had told reporters, he thought it was a car backfiring. How do you get... Okay. Yeah.
But why do you rush to the scene? Who
Yeah,
rushes to
that
the
was
scene of a
weird.
car backfiring?
Holy
Holy crap, jinkies!
Yeah.
There's a car backfiring.
But he said when he looked out, he saw men running really fast, like they had just done something terrible. Another chilling detail came from the first officers on the scene. So one of them later recalled, I've seen killings before, but never like this. The bodies were stacked like cordwood, blood pooling beneath them. It was just like something out of a war zone, which, that's probably stuck with that guy forever.
So this story, okay.
Yes.
So me just visualizing this, who did the firing? You said the cops were lining people up like a shakedown.
They weren't really cops.
Oh, these guys were not cops.
Couldn't have been.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
So
unless the
those
cops
guys started firing? That's what I'm
Right
trying to
up
figure out.
the
Who
ear.
started this firing?
The words were, there were 2 men dressed like
cops.
police officers.
And
according to
so they
witnesses.
lined those people up. And these were just regular workers.
Well, I
in
would
the-
call them regular. Well, I mean,
sh-
regular given the circumstances. They were just some thugs, doing some illegal things.
Okay.
'Kay.
And they got in there, put them against the wall, and they just started.
Yeah.
Wow.
Swiss cheese.
Okay. Do we know which gang, which rival, who won on this one?
It
was this Moran and the fake cops?
It was Moran's men. So he was running late that morning. He was actually supposed to be there, and he ran late. And he never made it there.
Okay.
He never made it there. So at this time, Chicago had already seen its fair share of violence, but this massacre was a little different because it wasn't just like a back alley execution or a drunken bar brawl. It was methodical, calculated, and it was meant to send a message. Newspapers, of course, sensationalized the attack, dubbing it the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And then the nation took notice. So though many suspected Capone had orchestrated the killings, he was never directly tied to the crime. He had been in Florida.
Of course.
Yeah, he'd been in Florida at the time. What a convenient excuse.
Yeah.
But suspicion alone was enough to shift the tide. So the massacre marked the beginning of increased pressure on Capone, which eventually led to his arrest. But it wasn't for murder, it was for tax evasion.
Oh.
They'll get you every time.
Because they couldn't get him for the murder. There was no evidence.
So justice was absolutely elusive in this case, and no one was ever officially convicted of this massacre. But the events of that day reshaped organized crime. So it served as a turning point where unchecked power met its own destruction. So organized crime, like, as we all know, it hasn't completely disappeared. It's just changed its face. So gone are the days of like the public shootouts. Well, kind of depending on what neighborhood and what part of the country you're in.
That's true.
Flashy
Bloods and
mob,
Crips.
flashy mob bosses,
CIA.
like territorial wars that made headlines in the early 20th century. We don't see that really anymore. But the violence, corruption, and the influence of organized crime, yes, it's still very much alive, and it's just more sophisticated and harder to trace. And it's deeply embedded now in more like global systems. And so,
Like the cabal.
yes.
I think that's interesting though, but as crime evolves and crime, like the forensic stuff evolves, the criminals have to get smarter about how they dump bodies. So, that's where cement shoes came into
You're right.
play and, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
where
We're gonna get into it.
you could stack bodies and leave bullets in walls and stuff like that. Now they can't do that. It's got to be a hit in a back alley, no witnesses, they got places to dump bodies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
You know what this reminds me of, Jason? The new Daredevil.
yeah.
Born Again?
Yeah.
How Kingpin got in there.
Yes.
Oh, don't
As he's
spoil
a-
it for anybody.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Hey,
That's
guys,
actually
Well,
a
y'all
spoiler
should
good-
alert.
Hey, look.
He's
if you
gonna
haven't
say
seen it,
something.
come on.
I loved that it was on Netflix, and I hated it when they threw it behind Disney. It was so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Great
Now we
story.
got
I
the
was gonna
spoiler
say it kind of reminds me of the new, everybody knows Kingpin's a criminal.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
the people that are around him that let him push his way into a political sphere, he's still a criminal. But he gets in there and he gets to do things like he wants to without doing all this stuff that we are reading about here, like shoot him up in the back room. He's making things happen legitimately.
Do you see a correlation with modern day politicians? And
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
they did that for a
Yes.
reason.
Lobbyists.
They made that narrative in that season for a reason. Especially right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you
That's
guys want to
good.
hear about how organized crime has like evolved and how that's different between then and now?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so street violence to financial crimes, all right? So nothing like the crimes aren't, as we mentioned, they're not like so in your face, loud and out there, but they're still operating. So back then, crime families, thinking of all the mob bosses, all the Italian mafia guys, they were families they controlled entire neighborhoods. They used extortion, racketeering, and territorial disputes to maintain their dominance. But now, like more modern crime syndicates focus on money laundering, fraud, and cybercrime, which makes a lot of their operations harder to trace. Before I keep going, I was watching, it was a reel, so of course it's true, right? But I actually believe
Yeah.
this because there was something I was reading, also one Netflix documentary. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's called Dirty Money.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And each episode is a little bit different, but one of them is about is it BOK Financial or is it HOK? I can't remember.
BOK is
BOK.
the actual
So
place.
Are you
it's
gonna be
about
okay?
BOK Financial is like an international bank, and there's a whole episode basically exposing the money laundering that they have done for cartels.
Oh, jeez.
And
Wow. Okay.
and so this reel that I saw kind of was like, okay, so I will actually, maybe this does have some truth to it. But basically a lot of what they're doing is you go over to like Dubai, and they have like basically there's something going on with their real estate that is like untouchable pretty much. You can just So a lot of crime syndicates, cartels, things like that, they have tons of buildings that are high-rise condos and they're empty. Because,
Miami's like that too.
Yeah, because they will buy a condo for like $5 to $15 million, for example, say, and they will just let it sit there empty for, I think it's like a period of like 5 to 10 years or something like that, and then it'll get sold. And then that's how they just like wash the money out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So they do that with real estate over in Dubai. And yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, that's an example.
I've heard that about Miami as well. Like a lot of the buildings, those high-rise apartments and stuff sit empty. And there's whole cities in like China. I don't know if that has to do with anything with crime, but it was like to push their GDP. They kept building high-rise cities essentially.
I heard that about China.
Yeah. But
nobody can afford those.
Nobody can afford them,
those.
So piggyback on the Chinese thing, you know, the Chinese are buying property, like residential.
That's what I was thinking about.
In New York, and then they're selling it to Chinese natives. So the natives have property here, but they also have a window into American money through the properties.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the middle class is like barely existing. But sure, we'll sell all of our land to foreign countries.
Can I backpedal for a second?
Sure.
Like going back to the actual massacre.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that movie? What was it called? Something Squad, Gangster Squad.
Yes.
With Josh
I haven't
Brolin
seen it.
and Sean Penn.
It sounds familiar.
So
I may have seen it.
He was basically, this guy was set up in like San Francisco or something like that, and then this was like the early days of like the G-Men, but they set up the set up a special squad called the Gangster Squad, and they worked total black book. It was like they were not cops when they were in operation for this, and their job was to take down this guy. It was played by Sean Penn. I can't remember the name of the gangster or whatever, but he was like the big bad guy on the West Coast. Whereas in like all of the Chicago gangsters and stuff and all the Eastern gangsters wanted a piece of the pie out of, and then he kind of muscled them all out. And they were setting up this, I don't know, it had to do with phones and money laundering and taking bets and stuff like that. It was a big book, I guess. And, but yeah, that was a huge moral thing in that theme, in that movie and in that story, was because the police were basically given like the, don't get caught, but go as hard on them as they go on us. And then, so,
it was sanctioned.
It was sanctioned, but it wasn't sanctioned. It's kind of
sanctioned, but not.
It's kind of like if any of the members you caught or killed,
You're disavowed. Okay.
Everything's getting set on fire.
Okay.
So,
were these fictional characters or based on?
It was based on a real story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure they took liberties, but it was that time was very interesting because it was like everything was shifting technologies. It was all phones, and that's what this gangster that Sean Penn was playing was doing. He was setting up a huge book that relied on like the telecom stuff, and they would call in the bets and stuff like that. So it was untraceable basically, unless you knew what number it was coming from or something like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Have you guys seen Tulsa King?
Yes.
Okay.
Love
so
it.
this kind of reminds me of the modern, because he goes into Tulsa, does his thing, and then he starts encroaching on the Kansas City mob. That's what they called it. And I was like, what? Okay. So they look different. They look like, okay, I'm just a normal business guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a mobster like you would, like this story that you're telling in 1929. That I think that's the parallel. You got that, and now it's just, oh, this is regular business. But you are kind of taking some of my business. The Kansas City Mafia is what they call them. They didn't like it.
Yeah.
But they look like normal people. They didn't look like your quote mafia people.
Yeah, they sure don't.
Anyway,
Yeah.
There's a huge presence of mafia in Kansas City.
they called it the
Yeah.
Kansas City Mafia.
I was chatting with a young guy who was related to someone who's in prison for insurance fraud for setting a very famous restaurant on fire.
Okay.
Coaches?
No,
Oh,
the Hereford House.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way. Okay.
I was like, hey,
Meryl's
I
got
heard
connections.
your uncle, and he's like, what'd you find? And I was like, ugh. Well, you want to talk about it? And he was like, it's part of my life, so yeah, let's talk about it. And I was like, ugh. Okay, I have questions.
I used to do.
It was an interesting conversation.
I used to do installs for Sears, and I got this one scratch and dent dishwasher that I had to go put in, and I drove to the house, and it looked like the front of every house in any mob movie you've ever seen. Knock on the door. There's this guy, no shirt, big old, chain on.
He wasn't in silk pajamas.
And he wasn't in silk pajamas. He's just like, yeah, come on in. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, man, this is weird. And so then this guy who's obviously the gopher is like, hey, boss, he comes in talking just like that. I'm like, what is happening here? And then they proceed while I was installing a trash compactor and a dishwasher, and they proceed to talk about how easy it was to make money on the streets back in the day, how, why do we got to be legit now, but all this stuff. I'm like, dude, please, I don't want to hear anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anymore. I don't know who you
put
are.
my earplugs in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird.
Okay, so more ways that they have changed. So from back then, like mob bosses would rely on violence and intimidation to control businesses and politicians. And now the crime groups will infiltrate legitimate industries using bribery, financial manipulation, and corporate fraud to exert influence. So instead of threatening a shop owner with a baseball bat, like today's crime syndicates buy politicians, rig financial markets, and control industries from the inside.
Wow.
So, and as we were kind of touching on it, we can go into more of like how organized crime has become more sophisticated, like what law enforcement has had to do in order to like up their game as well.
To make that shift. Because the baseball bat has turned into the bribe,
Yeah.
the payoff.
The fraud.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh,
What do you got on those tapes?
Diddy.
Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Israel.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. So later on,
Yeah, we'll
we've
talk
got,
about that later.
yeah. Let's talk about the RICO Act and like some legal frameworks. So the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations, also known as the RICO Act, was introduced to prosecute entire criminal organizations rather than just individuals. So they weren't getting anywhere by just trying to get individual people because they just go to prison, everybody would carry on and keep doing the same thing, right? And how the RICO Act works is it allows law enforcement to prosecute them, and then the prosecutors must prove a pattern of racketeering activity, meaning at least 2 related crimes within a 10-year period. 2! Yeah.
Within 10.
And
wow.
these crimes can include extortion, bribery, money laundering, drug trafficking, fraud, and murder. So this means law enforcement can connect multiple crimes to a larger network rather than treating them as isolated incidents. So before RICO, crime bosses often escaped prosecution because they didn't personally commit the crimes. They would order other people to do it. And so
Gotcha.
the RICO Act allows prosecutors to charge the leaders for crimes committed by their organization, even if they didn't pull the trigger themselves. So this was key in taking down the mafia, like John Gotti, Vincent, I don't even know how to say his last name, Gigante. Gigante?
Gigante.
Yeah, we're convicted,
Stringwini.
and they were convicted under RICO.
Hey,
So,
hold on. So I don't know if anybody knows this, but Meryl's no stranger to our show. She was on the Charles Manson episodes,
yeah,
which that reminded me of that because that was a discussion we had is why is Charles getting convicted for something he didn't do?
yeah,
That
And
was
we were-
BC, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was BC,
Before Christ?
before Curtis.
Oh,
yes, before Curtis.
was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
Curtis wasn't here?
yeah, because
yeah,
Joey was here when I was on. For
We did
that.
the what's that called? The Cult series.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was just reminding me. So if you want to go back and listen to, she is actual on her show before she did the Manson story.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of that because you said, now we can get them even though they didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah. So one of RICO's most powerful tools is asset forfeiture. So it allows law enforcement to seize money, property, and businesses linked to criminal enterprises. And this will cripple crime families financially, so it makes it harder for them to continue their operations. And many mob-owned businesses were shut down using RICO because it cut off all their revenue streams.
Yeah.
But RICO isn't just for criminal prosecution. It also allows civil lawsuits against corrupt organizations, too. So victims of organized crime can sue for damages, forcing crime families to pay restitution, which they're probably the only ones that have the money for it. And this has been used against corporate fraud rings, corrupt unions, and even street gangs, too. So,
they take down unions with this?
Uh-huh.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because there's got to be some kind of checks for those powerful groups of people, whether it be crime or...
So since its enactment, RICO has been instrumental in taking down these syndicates, and they applied it by using wiretaps, undercover agents, and informants to gather evidence of the ongoing criminal activity. So this will help build a RICO case, proving that crimes are part of like a larger enterprise. They will often convince lower level criminals to testify against their bosses in exchange for reduced sentences. And this
I ain't no rat.
Yeah.
Can I say something about
Someone's
that?
getting shivved.
Yeah.
So the police will use the lower levels to testify against that. But if you think about it, like how the criminals behave towards the lower people, they're either extorting them from protection money. Like, but I'm talking back in the day, the baseball bats. And all that.
Yeah.
Right. But it's always the little guy that gets screwed over. It's always
Yeah, because they always wind up dead.
Even if you think about those goons you were talking about, like that were working maybe they couldn't get a job anywhere else because the crime took down the area to where
that's all
no
they had.
business would be in that area. So unless they moved uprooted their life, they had to go in with these big crime syndicates to even get work. Now they're doing stuff,
Or they were pressured to.
Yeah, I mean it's just whether it's economic pressure, actual coercion, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it gets kind of hectic where you're looking at these goons and like, well, why would that guy choose to do that kind of thing? Well, maybe he didn't have a choice at that time, but it's always the little guy that gets crapped on. Even when the police go after these people, they target the little guy to bring
the
down
low
the big
hanging
guy.
fruit.
But then who gets the backlash? It's the little guy when the crime boss realizes who ratted on him. It's always that guy that gets.
I ain't no rat.
They get whacked. Yep.
Whacked.
Yep. So, because organized crime operates across state lines, RICO also allows federal agencies to work with local law enforcement, and this ensures that crime families can't escape prosecution by moving operations to another state. With crime moving online, law enforcement has developed cybercrime divisions to track money laundering, fraud, and hacking. Agencies use AI-driven forensic tools to analyze financial transactions and encrypted communications. Crime syndicates operate across borders, so law enforcement agencies now share intelligence globally. And then organizations like Interpol and the FBI work together to track international crime networks linked to terrorism, cybercrime, human trafficking, drug smuggling, and organized crime. So while the FBI operates within U.S. jurisdiction, it collaborates with Interpol and foreign law enforcement agencies to track these criminals across borders and share intelligence. And I don't know how I didn't know this, but Interpol isn't a law enforcement agency.
It's not?
I thought it was.
They're an international police organization that facilitates cooperation between 194 member countries. So the FBI, as the United States' principal federal law enforcement agency, they work with Interpol in several ways. And so basically, the FBI shares criminal data with Interpol, including fingerprints, DNA records, financial crime reports.
Okay.
And then Interpol maintains global databases that help track fugitives, stolen property, and cyber threats. And then the FBI uses Interpol's I-24/7 system, which is a secure global police network, to exchange information with law enforcement nationwide. So it's like Interpol will set things up internationally.
Okay.
Like, say the FBI is looking for somebody in Germany, like they will contact Interpol, and Interpol will help with
And they can
getting
get in that
police forces
database.
to find that person and do that.
So they don't have like in every movie that Interpol's involved.
Right, you see
the one guy which says Interpol on their
Yeah, you
shirt.
see
and
them,
they're
they
like,
got
I'm
those-
from Interpol. I'm taking over.
I totally thought like Interpol was like Britain's FBI, but
Oh.
they aren't actually quite like that. They're not like
Okay.
I thought it was a city.
Well, I thought it was actually, those poles the chicks will set up to practice strippers.
Yeah.
The Interpol. So,
oh my gosh.
anyway.
Anyway, Interpol will also issue red notices, which those are alerts for wanted criminals that help law enforcement locate and detain suspects for extradition. And then the FBI will request like red notices for fugitives who fled the U.S., allowing foreign authorities to arrest them. And while Interpol itself cannot make arrests, its notices help FBI agents coordinate with local police. And so the FBI has legal attaché offices.
FBI.
In 62 countries. So they work directly with Interpol and foreign agencies. So these offices assist with counterterrorism, cybercrime, organized crime investigations. The FBI also collaborates with Interpol's specialized units, such as those focused on human trafficking and drug cartels. And then the FBI and Interpol work together to track cyber criminals, especially those involved in ransomware attacks, financial fraud, and hacking. And then they have a cybercrime directorate that helps coordinate global responses to digital threats, while the FBI cyber division investigates international hacking groups.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So many crime divisions.
Yeah.
And how many of them are dirty?
Well, I don't
Do you
know.
ever think
Good question.
Do you ever think the people are like, you know what? It's just not worth it. Can we just stop? They're still going to crime.
Crime's gonna
It's still
crime.
going to crime.
Crime's gonna crime.
So let's let everybody crime.
Just let everybody crime.
And let's just
give everybody a gun.
Dude, Wild Wild West. I'd love
I got a question here
Okay.
from the audience. We got
We're talking about the
got a
Midwest.
listener in the audience today, Maria
Okay.
Weiler's in the audience.
I feel like we know her.
There she goes.
Do we
You
know?
know,
We know her.
Got her feet on camera. That's good. She's it's nice.
They
Yes.
disappeared.
Thank
She's I've always
You
wanted
can
like,
sell that for $500.
hey, that's a crime.
That's
Is
not
it?
a crime.
It's a digital crime.
Depends on.
She wanted to know our union's part of the mob, low key.
I've heard that they can be.
Have
I've
you
heard
seen
that-
them
I've
on
heard
the
that-
waterfront.
I've heard that a lot of on the
What's
waterfront?
that guy's
It's a
name?
it's a movie
I
with,
get him mixed up with Al Capone. What's that other guy's name? He was real big in the unions. He got shot.
He was Irish. He was Irish.
He got
yeah.
shot in the
You're
car
not, you're
outside
not
the
talking
restaurant.
About Cohen.
Oh, he's a big.
Well, let's
He was.
Google it.
They always thought he was a mobster, but he was like totally legit, and he was always speaking for the unions. I always get him mixed up with Al Capone. It's not Al Capone. Anyway, gosh,
What were you trying to say about him?
it reminded me with that question reminded me of this dude that
I will say, in my own union, I'm a part of
it
the.
was a mob.
So, no, not my local necessarily, but there was a big thing. My
Oh,
old-
Jimmy Hoffa is who I was
Jimmy
thinking of.
Hoffa.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Nailed it.
Yeah. But they took a bunch of the funds out of the pension, I think, and they bought a golf course and hotel down in Florida. The union members were not allowed to stay at this golf course.
Excuse me.
Why?
Or I mean, stay at the hotel or play at the golf course.
Okay.
And it was like set up to basically rake in this money from rich people who would come here, and it should feed back to the thing, but lost its rear end.
Obviously.
And then, I think the guy who set it up went to jail or something. I don't know the full story,
Oh,
but my
good.
boss would always tell me about this story, and he's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's dirty, it's all, but. Yeah, that kind of crap does go on.
They
in
had
the
a ton
unions.
of influence.
What would we call that?
And
Is
when-
that racketeering?
It's called making a living.
Skimming off the top.
Well, if you think about it, it's like I know that
It's called Monday.
a lot of times you hear like old sayings where like some cities were literally built on top of people.
Oh yeah.
And that's just not a metaphorical thing. It's like, yeah, the mafia would like hide bodies in concrete because there were people in the unions that were contracting the work for building buildings and stuff. And they were just oh, here, let me just dump these bodies in here, and then you just pour the foundation for this business that's coming up here.
And I
How
think
many
this
of
had
those
more
are
to do
done?
with OSHA standards, but the Empire State Building has so many thousands of bodies in the steel.
Yeah, that was huge.
Like,
Are you
OSHA.
kidding?
Yeah, because the big open pits when they were smelting.
they just fell?
Maria's face.
and they would it would be so hot they were walking and
They just
fall
fell.
in.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, if you were a mob boss and you're like, hey, go
Yeah.
take a walk on the catwalk.
Empire State Building?
Empire
Oh,
State Building.
was
That's-
that the building they used in Ghostbusters? Interesting.
Maybe it's been a while since I've seen the movie.
Interesting, right? Because it was a focal point of spiritual, supernatural
Oh,
stuff.
there you
I
go.
think you're onto something.
Yeah, there we go.
It's a ley line.
Thank you.
You had a story. So before I move on to the next,
Oh,
you
sorry.
said you had a story related to this. Al Capone.
Oh
Curtis.
yeah. So I was.
You should tell it.
In 2017, I was touring the Teeling Distillery, which is in the Irish whiskey Golden Triangle in Dublin.
Let's go.
Okay, so the Teeling I think shut down because of Prohibition. They kind of were on a decline. There was a huge fire in some of the warehouses that took out a lot of their stock, and then based on the tour guide's description, he said that Al Capone ruined the name of Irish whiskey in America by taking moonshine and adding
no.
boot black to it to make it caramel colored, and then people were like going blind and having heart attacks and getting sick off this stuff, right? But he was selling this really cheap moonshine that you can make in your bathtub and
my
adding
gosh.
adding boot black to it, which was poisonous, and then killing people with it. And so, but it was labeled as Irish whiskey. I just looked that up recently, and that's not necessarily the case. He started trading in Scotch whiskey instead of Irish whiskey, which the market basically said that they wanted Scotch over because they like the peated flavors and stuff like that over that. But that's what they're saying at the Teeling Distillery even today. So
Even today. Okay.
saying that Al Capone ruined Irish whiskey for Ireland. And-
Oh.
or
Well, there's an old
part of it.
saying
That
that
and
says
Prohibition.
the invention of whiskey came about so that the Irish wouldn't take over the world.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Smart
That'd be-
people.
Okay.
You know what the word whiskey is? It's like
Risque?
I don't know how to speak Irish, but it's
Celtic.
Yeah,
or
Celtic, Gaelic. It's like hoski or something like that. And it's life water.
Life water.
That's
Okay.
The two words come together, and it's
Probably because they use it a lot like
water. of
it reminds me of my brother-in-law who keeps a bottle of wild turkey in his freezer. And anytime he feels like a cold coming on, he will literally take
Okay.
a shot of it, and then he is usually fine within a couple days.
yeah.
And there's so many, like I saw, I've seen like old videos where people are being interviewed and stuff, and they use alcohol for tons of stuff to cure all kinds of remedies, and they used it more for
Well,
like medicinal purposes.
you've got like
rather
hot
than-
toddies and
Hottie
stuff.
toddy,
Which,
dude.
yeah, the hot toddies where you use like elderberry syrup and stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
That's I mean that's a
Well,
lot of
well,
vitamin
yeah.
C. In fact, last time I was on tour with this guy John Byrne in 2017, he got like some kind of laryngitis or vocal thing
Oh, geez.
going on. I mean, he's got to sing every single night and stuff like that. But he was drinking hot whiskeys, which are, if you haven't had one, they're great. It's
Well, hot
a
whiskey?
it's a shot of whiskey, a slice of lemon with cloves in it,
Okay.
and then
Ooh.
a little bit of honey, and
That
then you
sounds
pour hot water
delicious.
on top of it,
Oh, that's a hot
and you let
toddy.
it steep for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That'll
called
clear you up.
Irish hot whiskey. It's really good. So
That'll cure any
Yeah, we'll go
ailment.
through those during the winter here.
yeah,
Yep.
Get a little sniffle. Yeah. I'm in the bed for 3 days.
I have been in bed for
Because
3
of,
days.
'cause of the wild turkey.
I got the sniffles.
Yeah. Okay, well now for
What do we-
one of the other angles we're gonna look at this is, I know because we were talking about Tulsa King and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so while law enforcement agencies like the FBI and Interpol work tirelessly to track and dismantle organized crime across the globe, there remains a lingering fascination, as we know because we're talking about it, with criminal enterprises in pop culture. So we've got like movies, shows, and books often that paint mobsters as like powerful anti-heroes living in a world of wealth, loyalty, and strategy. But this romanticized version of crime leaves out the grim reality, which is one of violence, betrayal, and corruption that destroys lives and communities. Movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, and Scarface have shaped public's perception of crime syndicates, making them seem strategic, honorable, and even admirable. But behind the cinematic allure, organized crime is a system built on violence, fear, and corruption. And it begs the question, like, why do people find crime families so compelling? And how has Hollywood shaped the perception of organized crime into something larger than life, even glamorous, when the truth is anything but that? I mean, I will raise my hand. I love a good, organized crime show, movie, anything. I'm like, it is fascinating because you're just like, wow, this is actually how people live their lives, or they have, or whatever. So it led me down a little rabbit hole, which was like, why do people glorify organized crime? And the fascination with crime families and mob bosses comes from, how they're portrayed in the media. And then people will find them compelling because of the illusion of power and control. So crime bosses are often depicted as calculating masterminds, controlling entire cities with strategic precision. This creates the illusion that they're powerful, untouchable, and respected rather than ruthless criminals. There's a code of loyalty and brotherhood. So movies emphasize loyalty among gang members and make crime families seem like tight-knit communities. And in reality, betrayal is common, and many mobsters turn on each other to save themselves. And then, we have the glamorous lifestyle, which films will showcase lavish mansions, expensive suits, high-stakes deals, making them look like a shortcut to wealth. But in reality, most criminals, you were talking about the little guys, they live in constant fear, knowing that violence can come in any moment, and, anything can happen to them because they're so low on the structure of their hierarchy.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. And then you've got the anti-hero appeal. So it's like many mob movies humanize criminals, showing their struggles and ambitions and personal dilemmas. And this makes audiences sympathize with them, even though their actions are morally reprehensible. So the reality, though, dear listeners, is that despite the cinematic appeal, organized crime is one of the most destructive forces in society, and here's why. Violence and fear rule everything. So crime syndicates, they will enforce their power through murder, torture, and intimidation. You've got innocent people who are business owners, families, even children who become collateral damage in a lot of this stuff. You've got corruption that weakens society. Organized crime infiltrates governments, law enforcement, and corporations. That leads to bribery and fraud, and this erodes trust in institutions, making it harder for justice to be served, not to mention higher taxes, because the people that are actually working hard and making an honest living are ending up having to pay for all this stuff. As we mentioned,
pay for fighting crime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you've got the exploitation of vulnerable people. So crime families will profit from human trafficking, drug trade, and illegal gambling, and they target the most vulnerable. And most victims never escape, and they're usually trapped in cycles of violence and addiction. And then, the final one is just that no one's truly safe. So even high-ranking criminals live in constant paranoia. They know that betrayal could come from within, and many mob bosses die very violently, and which proves that crime doesn't lead to security. It leads to just absolute destruction. So just
live by the sword.
Yeah.
You die by the sword.
I just recently watched a show that was I thought it was a really good show. The last time I watched it wasn't very good. It was the Sons of Anarchy.
I've seen that.
And
Yeah.
that's like
Bike
a
gang.
motorcycle gang, but they is organized crime and stuff
It's
like
like
that.
the white people version of
Yeah,
crime.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like every single scene, they're walking up all cool, and then they give the handshake, and they sit down. They talk about the horrible crap they're going to do to the next people. And it's always and you can track through the 6 seasons. It was one misunderstanding that somebody went off the deep end and killed somebody else's daughter or something like that. And then that led to all of this stuff leading up to, well, if you haven't seen it yet, the ultimate demise of the main character, right?
Currently watching that unfold in a show called Mobland. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's on
I've seen
Paramount.
it on my feed.
It's on Paramount Plus. Again, I know what I just went through talking about how we shouldn't glorify it. But still,
it's interesting.
Admittedly, I'm human enough, and I find them very compelling and interesting shows. But Mobland has really good actors in it. It's got Tom Hardy,
Oh, he's
Pierce
a great
Brosnan
mobster.
is in it,
Oh, the suspense of that one scene.
and the Helen Mirren is in it, and
Yeah.
it is basically she is such a despicable character in the show, and you're just like, you ruin everything, and it speaks exactly to like what you're saying too.
But yeah, but I guess when I was watching this, or I watch any shows like that, I see how there's a way that the world is set up. When we talk about scripture, we talk about there's a way that seems right to the world. It's the eye for the eye, get them before they get me. It's a very dog eat dog, and we're called to live in a very different way. And I think sometimes you live with these changes that the Holy Spirit is making in you, without noticing the change. And then it's like your growth. You're like, well, I'm here now. And then you read something that you wrote 15 years ago. You're like, man, I was an idiot back then.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Holy Spirit changes and stuff like that. You start seeing these movies or these things that you thought, oh, this was really cool. Yeah, do this, that, or the other. And like you watch how the Holy Spirit has changed you and your reaction to the things that you used to uplift and uphold.
That you don't anymore.
That you don't anymore. And that's a real way that I think the Spirit changes us.
Yeah.
Or that's a good litmus test, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That leads to like one of the some of the questions that I was asking, kind of, when you dig a little deeper into this, like how do we walk out forgiveness in a world that glorifies revenge, and like how do we choose grace when none is deserved? And so there's this to say that there's this natural pull toward vengeance, so a belief that retribution will restore balance. I mean, Byron, you were saying eye for an eye, right? That justice is only real when the guilty suffer as they made others suffer, but history and scripture tells a different story. Revenge never ends where we think it will. It begets more retaliation, fueling cycles of hate and destruction. I mean, you can just look at organized crime, and every act of violence leads to another one. Blood's repaid with blood until generations are shaped by unforgiveness, grudges, fear. And the Bible actually warns about this. So Romans 12:19 says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." And then, again, Matthew 5:44, "Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you." And like it's not easy, but it is freeing to have this scripture in here, because when we refuse to let vengeance control us, we can break that cycle and we can reclaim peace instead of being chained to bitterness. Throughout history, there have been people who chose forgiveness when the world told them to seek retribution, and those choices changed everything. I mean, I think about Corrie ten Boom, who was a woman whose family was imprisoned for hiding Jews during the Holocaust. She later forgave a former Nazi guard who had tormented her in a concentration camp, and the moment he approached her asking for mercy, everything in her body wanted to turn away, but she felt, the pull of Christ's command, and she extended her hand, and in doing so, she broke, that power. And then
That's huge.
Yeah, there's I hadn't heard of this, but it's the Amish of nickel mines. So when a shooter took the lives of multiple Amish schoolgirls in 2006, the Amish community did the unthinkable. They forgave the shooter immediately, and they even reached out to his family to comfort them. And they refused to let evil define their response. So instead, they lived out the mercy of Christ.
Wow.
Yeah. So forgiveness doesn't mean, excusing evil. It doesn't mean forgetting the pain, but it does mean choosing God's justice over our own, knowing that vengeance destroys, but grace restores. And forgiveness isn't natural. It's not instinctive. It certainly isn't easy, but it is freeing, and it's transformative, and it's commanded by Christ, not because it's simple, but because it's the way to break cycles of destruction.
Can I play devil's advocate really quick?
Sure.
What about when the justice system fails?
Oh yeah, you guys have to keep listening to my podcast, because I have a lot of episodes that talk about that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So is vigilantism ever condoned?
I think so.
I mean,
that's a huge
there's
thing.
plenty of it. There's plenty of it in the Bible. I mean, look at the life of David.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of stuff that he did. I mean, the Israelites were commanded to, they
Wipe out
they
entire
destroyed
peoples.
the
Yeah.
Amalekites,
Yeah.
and they destroyed a lot of other nations, and all because the Lord said, these people are doing evil, and I don't want them to do it. So I do think that the Lord can use people for certain things, but
Like the Boondock Saints?
Maybe.
Sorry.
But I do think that the standards are a little different today because of the New Testament, because Jesus died, and he's the one that is responsible for, washing away all of that, right? So it's different when there was, before Christ, when the command was, you need to do what I say because I am the Lord and I'm calling you to do this. Mm-hmm. It's before he sent his son to take care of that for everybody else.
Absolutely.
So that's just...
I was just posing a
yeah.
tough
No, I
question
think it's great.
It's easy to look at the scripture.
Somebody
and be
listening,
like, oh,
listening could think the same thing too.
Yeah.
So.
And we don't only glorify mob movies and things like that, but the vigilante movies like Daredevil we mentioned earlier are huge ones, like where the justice system is being ruled by those kingpins and the evil mobsters. It's hard to just let that one lie.
I mean, okay, I can't think of the name of the guy, but I know this has happened a couple of times. It's usually not super highlighted in like the news or anything. I want to say he was either in California or Texas, but it's like guys who will go out and they will murder a pedophile for molesting their child or a friend's child or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name, but there was somebody who was literally going out there and he was just like killing pedophiles. Like he basically was using the sex offender registry like
to
as his. And
sounds like a good
I'm trying to remember who that is. If you guys know, write it in the comments or something, because I can't recall the name of that person. Me personally, I'm not going to judge that guy. There's consequences for everything though. So it's like, it's not up for us to decide.
Right. He's taking the risk.
He's the one taking the risk. And I mean, I applaud him for it because I would probably do the same thing. And I don't think anybody.
If everybody on that list is truly a pedophile. Here's the thing. I mean, I know of a couple cases where somebody got on the registry and they weren't really a pedophile.
Because you can pee in public and you're getting put on the list for a period of time.
They specify on the registry.
Yeah, they will say that.
Not well enough.
No, they do. They do.
Not well enough.
No, I since I have small kids, I make sure that I know who's around me all the time. And it's awful, but it's also good to know. Mm-hmm. And they go into great detail what they've done. And so some of it's really disturbing. Some of it is, peeing in public. And but yeah, I think when those vigilantes take the law into their own hands and kill pedophiles, I think they're doing the Lord's work.
We can get into this discussion off mic. We can get into this discussion off mic, but I have somebody I know very well who was targeted by people who would look him up off the sex offender registry. And he made one comment to a girl that was 15 when he was like 21.
Yeah, I mean, all the registries are different per state and per county and per city, so it's going to change. I know the one for where I live, it's very specific, and I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I thought there was a law. Well, they're all laws, but in the state of Kansas, there is not a law where a pedophile can be a certain distance away from a school. So there's a dude that I know that's next door, right over.
Yeah.
The street.
Laura Kelly.
From your house?
Laura Kelly, figure that out. Figure it out.
From the school.
She's the governor of Kansas right now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But Laura, freaking figure it out.
That blows my mind. Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
Well, I mean, weird. Like, for instance, that person that I suppose they're living in a house that you're talking about next to the school.
Yeah.
So is there something that you're supposed to do, like a background check? Would the realtor go, I can't sell you this house because you're a pedo?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? How would somebody stop you?
That would be easy to
You know what I'm saying?
But to
background checks, for sure.
Piggyback
But I don't think they do that, do they? When you buy a house?
They don't have to, but, I mean, that would be easy to change.
Piggyback on what Maryl said earlier, she was saying about the forgiveness and, taking it into your own hands, and we're called to forgive and do all that. And she said it's hard.
Anchorage, Alaska.
What's that? Pedophiles?
The Jason Vukovich.
Jason Vukovich.
This was
that's the guy killing people.
Yeah, he was given 23 years in prison.
Oh, come on.
But think about this. Like she said,
for murder?
Forgiveness. Those pedophiles, which I have a strong hate, which I'm okay with saying that,
Okay.
towards pedophiles.
Sure.
But think about this is how scandalous, but not yet beautiful, but yet hard forgiveness and grace is. But not just by us, by God, by Christ. Think about it. The gentleman that is molesting babies. I watched this thing about Tim Tebow, his organization. He was talking about there's a ring of pedophiles that molest babies.
So sick.
I can't fathom.
Rape babies.
I don't even understand how that.
Guess what? If he accepted Christ in his heart, guess where he's going?
Yeah, we're going to see him there.
And guess what? Guess what we have to do? Forgive.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know if I can. How many times do I have to?
I think that if you are already in heaven, there's not going to be that issue because you're not going to have your flesh suit.
But right now, if he said to you, "Hey, I'm a Christian, I believe in Christ," you have to be like, "Okay." Well, even if you didn't have to, you have to forgive. How many times do I have to forgive that guy that molested that baby? Oh my God!
Yeah.
All those times.
Yeah, James Berkowitz was the Strangler, the Boston Strangler, I think. And he did an interview not too long ago. He's come to Christ.
Wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer baptized into Christ?
That's what he said.
I think so.
No, it's crazy to think like, oh my gosh.
I talked to somebody who said that they had baptized him right before he got caught or something like that.
So it's easy to say that, like I forgive you, but to actually do it, especially when you've been wrong so many times over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's a different thing. And so the call to forgive by Christ, and especially when he says, how many times must I do this? 70 times 7. Wow, that's a lot. I must continuously forgive him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then also you get to share into the glorious parts of heaven, right? And that's the depth and what she was talking about with sin.
Yeah.
Especially with this crime podcast. Like you're gonna dive into this world, this criminal world of just deep, dark sin that goes deep.
Yeah.
It's not, hey, you know what? I was cussing. I was saying, pardon my French, shit on the way to work at the dude on the highway. No, this is, hey, you know what? This dude slashed and brutally murdered 7 kids.
Whole family. Yeah.
But yet, there's still forgiveness in that.
I think there's some metaphysical things that we don't understand about God's justice either. I think there's things that are not in the Bible that if we knew those things, it would create
probably
So I think we know what we need to know on this world.
I agree.
And I think that
on this plane.
On this plane. And if we want to, I'm not going to put this out on the internet because I'm going to get torn to shreds.
About to.
Huh?
You're about to.
About to get torn to shreds.
Well, whatever you're about to say is going on the internet.
All I'm going to say is if you want to get in a conversation with me, get on Discord.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Because I've been building I feel like as Christians we have a very dichotomous. It's either we die, we go to either heaven or hell, and then we have to live with that. Like, hey, this guy that just raped babies claimed Christ, now he's in. What the heck? Not saying that has nothing to do with us. The parable of the generous landowner. Where the guys who were sitting around all day, they got the same amount as the guys who've been working all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to God to give out His gifts as that has no bearing on my soul.
Right.
I need to live my life in the way that I want to attain the award that God has promised me. So, and we should rejoice when somebody like baby molester gets into heaven. But I think maybe there's some other things that God has set up that you got to work through some of these things before you're, or you have the opportunity to work through some of these things before you're given those rewards. So, and we could talk more in depth of what I'm talking about. I've kind of mentioned.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you could just say, "Aren't we all baby molesters?"
What?
Boy, I would not go there.
But I get what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
We're just as bad.
Right.
Yeah, we're just
in
as
God's
bad.
eyes. There's no way we can hit that standard.
Is it perfection? No, we didn't. We missed perfection. We missed the mark, right, Jason?
I freaking hate it. That pisses me off till no end. When pastors describe sin as missing the mark, because it's much more than that.
That's why I said
that. I know you did, and it's much deeper than that. It's depravity. It's evil in just like this deep dark abyss that takes and takes and takes and takes.
Yeah, it's missing the mark if you're not actually digging to find out what the root of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's that, and that'll be the kind of things that I'll be talking about in my future episodes.
should definitely touch on some vigilante stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This has been good. I like the combination of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like getting
Thanks.
you getting into this dark place, and also at the end shedding light.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. We should do more of these with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come on and talk about. I've got so many good ones, you guys. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we'll have to do more collabs.
Okay. I'm in.
Well, appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
this
me.
being a pilot for you.
Yeah.
Hope all the listeners go over to Spotify when this drops. Well, actually,
Well,
that's
when you
weird.
hear this, it'll be the day that it drops.
How would you know to go? Okay, see, here's how you'll know. When you hear ours, go over to hers and follow and hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Do you have a website or anything?
She will.
You will?
Not yet.
Not
I
yet?
will.
Okay.
I should.
All
Byron's will probably
right.
help me
Speaking
with
of that, make sure you visit our website, www.bottomofthat.com. Check out our blog for all our show notes and resource material.
Patreon.
And also, the Patreon. You want to hit that real quick?
Yeah. Bottom of that. At Patreon. Patreon at bottom of that. We're still getting it set up.
We're still
we've
working
got
on the
one
merch.
tier so far. We do have hats now. Limited supply of hats that have our logo on them.
Yeah, Jason's sporting one.
He's
Show
sporting
that
it.
real quick.
Show it off. Pull your hood down.
The hood.
Pull your
my
down.
hood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
show
go.
that
Boom.
hat.
Got a little logo on there.
Nice
So,
little trucker hat.
Nice, sexy little black trucker hat.
Yeah, so we're going to put that out there. So we're trying to get our merch up and try to get some T-shirts and some other stuff out there.
If you send me a hat, I'll send you a hat.
Are you still want them to send the hat to
I
that
do.
address?
Yeah, it's P.O. Box 68, Peculiar, Missouri 64078.
And peculiar it is.
Yes.
Curious it is. Hey, also make sure on social media you can follow us on our platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and also if you're listening on YouTube, do me a favor. Also, Rumble and BitChute. And you like this episode? Do me a favor. Click the like, also share, and also comment. This is going to get the algorithm to get this content, to share it up to other people or serve it up to other people that want to hear this kind of content.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that. Also, do me a favor on Spotify mobile app. I didn't do a question of the week this week, but on air, but scroll down below this episode. There will be a poll question of the week that you can do that and leave us a comment as well. Also, click that bell on our podcast and also give us a 5-star rating as well. A lot of stuff you got to go out and do, a lot of homework. If you did not like this episode, I appreciate you tuning in. Hey, tune in next week. You might hear
Something
Maryl
better.
say this.
Well, goodbye.
So,